All right, good morning, everybody. We're going to call the meeting to order. Right now, I don't believe we have any changes to the agenda, so we'll continue as is. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from December 12th?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Oh, wait, we don't have a quorum. Hold on, sorry.
No, we did.
Nope, Amber is not a voting member.
That's right.
Oh, she's not voting.
No,
One, two. Oh, sorry, Laura, I didn't see you come in. I'm like,
yeah. No, we're good.
sorry, I thought that was Alexis. Alexis is not here. Sorry. It's been one of those weeks. Is there a motion to you would get motion? Thank you. Thank you. All any discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I know. Well, my head's been buried in my phone trying to get some work done before we got started. What was that?
The tear up just
Yeah, well, is that coming out today?
posted.
Oh, excellent. It may be a good day or maybe a bad day. We'll see. It's been a very good week, so.
Yeah.
All right, anybody on for public comments? Anybody present? No?
So we have a harvester medical risk.
Okay, thank you. All right, we will move into the fiscal report with Amber.
You muted, Amber.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right. I feel like there's usually a lot more discussion before you guys hit me. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's my turn.
No, we just realized that I'm completely incompetent to run this meeting, so we're just gonna move along to other people that are far more competent to carry the water.
I don't know if making me the choice was a good idea there, but
You
okay.
can only go better than what I started off with, so.
All right, we're going to start with November. All right, we are 42% through this fiscal year. We have a unreconciled bank balance of $357,000, which we're going to subtract the reserve amount of $469 and find ourselves not in compliance by $112,000. So for November, we had a revenue of $67,000. Salaries were $99,000 and operating expenses just under $13,000 for a deficit of $44,000. Fiscal year to date, we have a revenue of $573,000. Salaries and wages are at $546,000 and operating expenses at $160,000 for a total year to date deficit of $133,000. Comparing this to the budget, revenue is down 5%. Salaries, they're up about 1%, but more like a 0.75%. It's pretty close. And operating expenses are up 8%. Account receivables balance is at $151,000, 4% of which is your West Virginia Treasury. And any questions on November?
We can go into December.
All right. Okay. Looking at December, we are halfway through the fiscal year now. We have an unreconciled bank balance of $270. Subtracting the reserve amount of $441, we are not in compliance by $170,000. In December, revenue was $16,000, salaries $96,000, and operating expenses $14,000 for a deficit of $94,000. Year to date, we have a revenue of just under $590,000, salaries $642,000, and operating expenses of $175,000 for a deficit of $228,000. Comparing that to the budget, revenue is down 12%. Salaries are right on par, and operating expenses are up 5%. Just as a reminder, this is the slow time of year where revenue tends to dip. So that was pretty comparable to last year.
What are the
Accounts
operating-
receivable.
Sorry, one second, but what are the operating expenses? We had an 8% in November, above budget, 5% for December.
So, well, with the 5% with the, December, that was, we also had like the, IT tech advisors, the,
So it was that infrastructure, like that new stuff. Okay.
yes.
All right, I figured, but I didn't want to assume.
My brain wasn't braining, I apologize.
No, that's-
What I wanted to say.
Look, I am not the model of.
It's Friday morning,
It
it's
is.
still early. but-
Absolutely.
I'm only through not even one caffeine product, so.
You have both.
Yeah. All right, sorry, Amber, thank you.
No worries. All right, accounts receivable in December, we are at 142,000, 5% of which is your West Virginia Treasury. All right,
Any questions, any other questions for Amber? And I see Brandon has made it on. Brandon, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Just getting oriented now. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Good morning and happy new year all.
No worries. We just want to let everybody know somebody made any like fun jokes about you.
I'll be the first to make one of those. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Well, if no questions, is there a motion to accept November's financial reports?
Make a motion to accept the report.
I second.
Good, Laura seconded first. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, I'm gonna do one more thing before I hand the gavel back over to you, Brandon, because I forgot that we had a second set of minutes for December 23rd. That we need to go back to accept. This was the one that was primarily executive session. So I'd like to make the motion to accept.
We do that.
Oh, yeah.
We need to make a change because
I
I was here, but it
Okay.
shows
Oh,
that
okay.
I was present.
All right, so I'll make a motion to accept the December 23rd minutes with the amendment that Dan Caprio is listed as present, not as absent.
Thank
you. Is there a second? A second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right. Okay. Back to you, Brandon.
All right. Next on the agenda.
So we had the, with the unfinished, business, the environmental health fees, for fiscal year 27 possible, looking at those. Unfortunately, Alexis is out sick today. Brandon, the flu hit her pretty good. We are still looking at and then doing all the adjustments, so we'll have to postpone that till next month, but that's okay, with everybody. I do apologize for that. Any issue with that?
I mean, I don't have an issue. It makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. I know that the timing was a big thing for that as it relates to getting the updates in before the bills for next year went out. Hopefully we'll
Yes.
be able to kind of, maybe it's a tighter timeline, but still possible, do we think?
Is possible, but, with everything that else that was going on, tech advisors, the changeover and everything else, obviously the extra holidays that we had, we were not really expecting at first. With the extra days off on the Fridays, which I don't think anybody really complained about. It just kind of threw a monkey wrench in all that, all the planning. So, if we, can get them out, we'll see what we can, if it's feasible or not. If not, so be it. It's not an end all be all for the situation.
We'll need to look at our timelines because we want a new fee schedule to be able to send out for the July permits. So we would send that out typically April. So it's the, getting our 30-day public comment and then approving it and then getting it sent to the county commission. Want to be sure that, since we'll need to calculate timelines and see, so maybe at some point we may need another special meeting. But certainly could be a Zoom with only that item. But we'll have to look at
Yeah.
our timelines.
Now, do we have a formal proposal yet of what those?
No, that's what.
fees are? That's what, okay, so I see like this, but I don't.
Oh, that's, just, looking at historically over the course of a year, where our fees kind of come into play when it comes to, just our overall arching, budgetary aspect.
Right, so like going into schedule of holidays.
Oh, yeah, so actually I put out a new schedule for everybody to look at, nothing crazy, nothing new, actually, thank you to the county commission. This, if it's, not broke, don't fix it. It helps us and actually to keep everybody here at the board and that we can put on our website, up to date on what the next calendar year of the holidays are. This way also allows people to be informed that if the governor, the president, does give us a federal holiday, state holiday, that we fall under that because the county does, and we are a county facility. County buildings, they close the building. We can't come into work. So just for everybody to see, have, and be aware of. For this coming calendar year that we'll be able to put on our website, have readily available for everybody. So something I don't think you've done before,
Right.
but I think it's a good measure for people to see, so no one's confused. on
Election day always a holiday?
I do believe so.
Typically is for the county commission, the county.
The President's Day or?
No,
Election
sorry,
day.
election day.
Oh, yeah, it should be.
Is it? Okay.
So, like I said, just to help alleviate any questions and help people understand, like, hey, it's readily available for the public if they are want to come in for a day and kind of confused and want to make sure that we have a day. And see that we maybe close that day.
I think we move into the agency. Sorry, I'm just gonna move it along, Brandon.
Yeah.
The agency activity report.
Since Alexis isn't here, I'm gonna kick up the environmental health report. Actually, I did put out in the email, a wonderful little slideshow that Alexis did for the end of the year. Just to give you the rundown on that, they did total inspections of 838. I didn't print out the slideshow for everybody. It would not have looked pretty. So I apologize. They did 838 total inspections, through calendar year 25. 46 of them were complaints, 87 were follow-ups, 90 were openings, and 612 were routine inspections. Out of those inspections, Mason did 162, Alex did 209, Alexis did 206, and Jonathan did 189. If I can read my own handwriting. Wellness Septic, they had 525 info requests, 401 site evals, 413 permit applications, 189 permit finals. For permit renewals, they did 782, and plan reviews, they did 139. So it was a very busy year. All in all, though, that's probably about 50% of the total number of visits and everything else that we have in the county. Which is mind blowing, when it comes to the routine inspections, stuff like that. So they are very, very busy people, and so kudos to them and the hard work that Christina, the entire staff over there, Alex, Alexis, John, Mason, they do. New hire Kristen doing their trainings, so big props to them.
And so that's based on the calendar year.
That is
which
calendar year.
different than we usually do, but the inspection from the state that we're going to have is based on past calendar year. So this data, we're going to be looking at and drilling down in greater detail, like for the food establishments. How many inspections were, how many unique facilities were done, how many were not done, and all that, which they're gonna know.
Clinical activity report, family planning, we've had 20 in the last month. Breast cancer and cervical cancer screening programs, 2, which meets our average. STD patient encounters, 20, vaccinations, childhood vaccinations that again have been going down. But we have flu and COVID vaccines, making up 58 total. And TB tests are, pretty much where we expect them to be. Animal encounters 18. It has been slow over the holiday, which is good. But we're just where we expect to be.
Are TB tests done because of travel or is it because people have suspected contraction of TB?
Most of them are employer or university requirements. And then we occasionally have a physician probably having some kind of reason to send a patient in, but that's much more less than what we see routine screening because of employment at the university.
Some of the, so we also, in addition to seeing people for testing, we also are responsible for anyone that has a positive test, often blood tests that are reported to the lab and they live in our jurisdiction. And some of these are done for screening reasons. Others are done because they have an immune problem. They're going to be put on immune suppressing medicine and they do tuberculosis tests before. And if they turn positive, then we have to see that they're properly evaluated, get into treatment, and we may or may not end up seeing that person. That becomes complicated. Fair number of people are immigrants. They're not necessarily part of our other daily stuff, but we know that there are a lot of countries where the incidence of tuberculosis is higher. And then some people get a vaccination against tuberculosis in their country, so that could make like a skin test positive, but it's not from actually having tuberculosis. That needs to be sorted out sometimes.
Anything else on political?
What
Thanks.
Health officer.
So Mr. Blake, I did send a late email with some graphs in it as we looked at last time. I don't know if you can see that on your computer, but this is financial information, but it's just looking at it. If we look at first few graphs are environmental. So we look at the three different fees we get in environmental. One is service fees, which would be someone wants to put a well in it. The other is permits, and that's usually a new establishment or an establishment that's been operating and then needs to do their permit for July. And then the third is food card. So the service fees are this is a year to date thing. So they're pretty much the same, just like the food cards. They're very much the same month to month. The permit fees are mostly at the end of the year when we bill for the annual renewals of established. And so you can see that that's a big difference in money what we sent out in April. On graph number 4, you can look at the last year's salaries, the gold line, and then the permit fees. So environmental, their permit fees pretty well cover their salaries. It's not dependent primarily on grant money. This year, the blue line shows that we're a little lower on our salaries than last year. But our permit fees are about the same, and we expect in March or April when we submit the invoices, they will then show up in our accounts receivable. The money won't come to the bank for a month or so later. Medical supplies are pretty similar to last year. Most of the supplies are bought early in the fiscal year. Number 7 is vaccine expenses. A couple months ago, we had a big increase in vaccine expenses, but you can see that that's in August, that was an anomaly compared to the prior year, but the early part of the year is when we had most of our vaccine expenses. Immunization income, income meaning these are charges for, we are in the last 2 months, the red we're lower than last year. It's October, November, December. Total medical fee, which includes the immunizations, we're also down. So environmental, we're pretty much the same as last year. But medical fees were lower. 10 vaccinations year to date. You can see that the blue is the difference. So we've been down in November and December. The total vaccines per month, actually in December, we didn't do many, but we didn't do many last December either. So so October, November, December are driven mostly by flu and COVID, which were there were fewer shots given this year, which is what we're seeing in other places too. It's not too late to get your flu shots. But we're certainly seeing a lot of not a lot of other stuff happening during holidays. Did have local emergency planning commission where I was nominated to be the vice chair of the committee if Mr. Breslin's out. And then
Which, I'm sorry, which commission?
the local emergency planning
Okay.
committee, which is Commissioner Hepp stays on that, and it involves a lot of different agencies, fire, police, many different agencies, and it's
A few
very
anarchists, but anarchists.
yeah. But it's an interesting committee. They're supposed to.
That's who we want on emergency response right here. That's awesome.
Listen,
We don't like structure.
That's the after meeting. So,
But that actually comes together pretty well. They do not have a staff as such, so they have to, when they decide something needs to be done, the next thing is figuring out who's going to do it.
we've had a couple of very interesting field trips that have been sponsored by the LAPC. One of them earlier last year, I think, was out to Bleak Solar. We went out there and checked their safety responses to stuff, learned some interesting stuff out there, but I thought it was a very good meeting. And then we did a good trip up on the mountain last month. Was that before Christmas?
is it?
Oh, yeah. Seems like it was just yesterday.
Like fire, like.
The fire.
Yeah, fire, and if there's any sort of emergency on the mountain, there's really only one way in and one way out. It's just a real danger. All the leaves that are left laying around, I mean, it's typically a great place to start a fire, a California type fire. So there's some real concerns up there. So a delegate right now is working very closely with us on it. I hope we can get something, some movement from the Department of Highways.
What is it to like put a second road?
Put it, yeah, I think that would be the
Or a
ideal
second
thing, is put in a second, an escape route, basically. So, but it's been pretty interesting. But LAPC is not very well known, and they've done a lot of good stuff. As a matter of fact, I included their meeting minutes from the last year in the last package for the planning commission, if anybody wants to browse through them, see what's going.
One of our requirements, in addition to vaccinations, some other things, is threat preparedness, and we get a grant with about 100,000 a year,
Right.
which has not yet been approved, though we've done 6 months of work on it. But being involved in these committees is important. There are a lot of stuff that comes up that should be done that doesn't get done. Trying to move some of that forward. A lot of that requires more work on our part too. Being prepared for, what if there are mass casualties? What if there are so we're in charge also of mass fatalities. So in a couple Saturdays from now, I'm going to day-long meeting in Maryville that's put on by a national on mass fatality, so how do you do that? So things you wouldn't think of.
It's great that we have two active members here that are on that LEPC. Because Board of Health would definitely be involved if there was an emergency, so that big time involved.
Do
So,
we have a threat preparedness person assigned?
correct.
Not
I'm,
currently.
I'm acting.
You're acting.
Yeah, and to most health departments do not have they have someone designated as that, but it's not their only hat.
Yeah, like I think when Mason started, that's what he did, but then
Correct.
the transition.
Right.
Administration or?
That's
Okay, we did the IT switch over recently. It's going about as good as we can hope. Obviously, there's some hiccups, there's some wonderful issues there. There's some things we were working on getting our Microsoft licensing due to the way West Virginia OT decided to take us off of the systems, and when they did that, they took Chris Systems with them. So working on that. We had my monthly administrator meeting down in Stonewall yesterday. Coming from next month, February 5th is Public Health Day at the Capitol, so I'll be going down for the Capitol speeches with Delegate Regenauer, and Senator Rucker, hopefully, and speaking and based on whatever the state of the state address is and the budgetary aspects are, so we'll see. So hopefully get some good exchange there and some good times there. I know last month we had talked a little bit about possibility of HR, that nature. I did a preliminary look with Bambi. So for organization about our size, it's roughly $500 a month with an initial startup of about $1,500 at most. So something that we can look into a little bit more, and what they can do is policy creation, onboarding, terminations, compliance, you name it, they take care of it
They
all.
could do it for governmental bodies as well.
Yes. That we fall under the small business aspect of it too, so that's where it kind of is, they base it on size, organization under the small business, so that's where we fall under. Which I think would be cheaper than paying for half of a personnel. Other than that, so as Dr. Reed pointed out, threat prep has still not been approved yet. Everyone in the region that when we talk for our emergency threat prep administrator aspect is trying to figure out what's going on. No one really, there's no real correspondence yet from anybody on why it's been such a delay. No one knows. And it's frustrating at best because that's a good chunk of change right there. So.
They're also in QRT's not approved.
Oh, no, QRT was approved, actually.
It's finally approved.
Yes, actually, so QRT was approved, it's on the OSA a couple months ago. And actually, John McComas, who is outgoing, this is his last day at the state. I reached out to him wondering where we were sitting at. Actually, they had sent an email at the beginning of December with the packet out. It unfortunately did not come to me. So I just received that on Wednesday prior to me leaving for the day before going to my meeting. So yeah. So we
The state aids, are they up?
the state aid is up to date. We should be receiving that sometime this month. That's $115,000 roughly, give or take.
We still
Couple
very
$100
nominal
here and there.
compared to our deficit, but yeah.
Fair, I mean,
Yeah.
it'll have a little slightly, but we're working there. We haven't seen any, we have gotten some funding back from the With MMSWV, sorry, trying to remember they've done a couple of our billing cycles so far. So like I said, it'll take a little bit of time before we kind of see that real revenue stream kicking up, especially since it started kind of in December and running through that. So, but it is cycling through. We have not, unfortunately, okay, Blake is still on, okay. We have not unfortunately had time to talk about cutting some more of the bills out yet. That just the month that it's been
Mhm.
with everything going on. So, I expect to move forward with that though, this month, cutting some of the old outstanding debt. So,
Great. Any questions?
Yeah, just a quick question on the tech advisor cutover and
Yes,
the
sir.
did they pull the Medicare licensing that we thought we were gonna have till like May or June? Like what exactly happened? And is there any, more importantly, is there any data archival storage that was lost or at risk of being lost through this transition?
So there's no data losses, since we still go through West Virginia for our email and Google Share and Google Drives up until, because we are still licensed through them until the end of June. Everything should have been saved. Everybody was informed and told to save everything to their drive, Google Drive. So we still have our email through the state. We can still pull everything that was saved. So there should be no data lost. The only thing that happened was our Microsoft licensing. When they came in, they actually completely, lack of a better term, nuked all of our computers. So we had no operating systems. Which was always a fun time. To include, they took out the fobs that didn't need to be taken out of computers and just threw them in a pile. Take that how you want it. So when we're getting everything up and running, getting everything up, everybody has access now. For Microsoft licensing, that means so for Excel, Word, PowerPoint, we need the licensing to utilize those as an organization. And with that, we just figure out the domain name.
So
All
are
right.
the emails gonna change?
Go ahead.
The emails will not change currently. We're
But
still,
like when it runs out. is
when it
gonna
runs out, we
change?
will change over to whatever our domain name email will be.
Okay,
Or whatever our domain name, our email will be that.
great.
And how we're going to be able to archive the old Google stuff, we have to figure that out with West Virginia IT, because we don't want to lose.
We don't want to lose
We're no longer
anything.
on their
Yeah.
license.
And then we don't want to keep paying them to archive month after month stuff. I'm no IT individual, please understand that. I assume, but we all know what happens when you assume something, that we can take what we have and put it into the SharePoint that we get through Microsoft from Google. So we'll download it and then re-upload it into the SharePoint.
Yeah.
Through Microsoft.
We should probably talk to Tech Advisor. I'm assuming they're gonna manage that.
Yes.
And then probably have to come up with some kind of policy of backups.
Yes.
So backup of backup of backup.
And everything will be on a cloud. We do have a cloud-based server. Everything that we do is on the cloud for them, and that we own, which is nice, right? Like that was the whole purpose of it. So when we do finally make the move over to the new building, it's just a carryover.
Right.
When's your schedule for doing that?
I have
The new building.
no clue, sir.
We don't.
No clue of the new
That
building.
all seems to be a mystery to me too, so
Oh, you're already in
when it
there.
happens, it
We,
happens.
we anticipate a year.
At least a year.
Since I don't get an office or even a table.
Are you allowed in the door?
I can get in the door, but
Only on meeting days.
yeah,
Give you
Progress.
well, I try to carry everything with me, so.
We'll have an extra chair for you, Jack. Don't worry.
There's plenty of chairs laying around and parts of modules and stuff, because they're doing the grand reconfiguration of the building. So we did a little walking tour of it yesterday, and it's a wonder to behold. And as far as IT is concerned, I'm resisting for as long as I can to switch over to the new system because everything that I've got is working.
Yeah.
And I don't want to break it. So,
Yeah, that's the unfortunate aspect of the switch over.
Yeah.
Getting used to everything again. That's what we know firsthand.
and then, of course, if you get hit by FOIA and there's missing information, it's probably because you were hiding it. And when you can't find it yourself, it's just absolutely amazing. I just love the inner workings of government. Sarcasm intended.
As the Navy guy.
And that's certainly one of our anxieties with the Google,
Yes,
old Google stuff.
yes.
Just a short story. After 9/11, I was in the Navy. And the first thing that the Navy did was shut down all of our communication systems. Later, they decided that was a bad idea, but it was like,
All right. Think Brandon's done with his report.
Right.
Looking, deferring to you, Brandon. Like,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get back to the agenda. I'm bouncing around on my laptop here. I think the next order of business is a move to go into executive session.
I'll move to go into executive session.
Second.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, if we could stop, wait, if, yeah, stop recording.